This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia with a tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer. Listen to my show every Monday from 11 to 12 on KWWJ 1360 AM, KYOK 1140 AM, KCOH at 1230 KCOH.com, Sankeet Radio at 95.1 FM, 1460 AM, and Latino Sports, KEYH 850 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then. All right, Houston. All right, Harris County. You got me, Gilbert Garcia, with another tip for me. Talk, inspiration, and prayer. I can't quite hear myself, producer, but I'm sure you'll fix it. And here we are again, another great show. We're going to talk about all kinds of things today, especially the elections, especially what's going on with our city council runoff, what's going on with CD18. And you know what? I think CD18 should be as the world turns, because it just keeps a turning. And we have, of course, former council member Dwight Boykins. Dwight, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Always glad to be with you, Gilbert.
Hold on, I'm just checking my earpiece and everything else right now. But Dwight, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, my man. Thank you so much. I always look forward to see you and your staff, man. Y'all doing some good stuff.
We're trying. and of course, I want to talk all about your race.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about you, and I want to talk about your vision for the city, because of course you probably are one of the most qualified people to run for council, because you've been there already.
Yeah.
And of course, forget about your long history of all the things you've done, because you've done a bunch. But you've actually been on council before.
Yes.
So you can make comparisons with the tenor of other councils and other mayors. In fact, let's talk about that for 1 second. Do councils generally have a personality of themselves? Are councils all the same, or is it really a function of those people together and how they function? I mean, what's your thought about that?
Well, for those who may not be aware, Gilbert, there are 16 members of the Houston City Council and one mayor. We do not have a city manager. You're right, absolutely. Everybody sitting around the council table thinking they could become the mayor. That's the way it operates, and it's easier said than done. Let me deviate for a second. If you would have won the mayor's race, your personality, Gilbert, would have worked perfect with every Democrat, Republican, and independent candidate.
Well, I appreciate that.
And I say that because you did it as Metro Chair. You worked and brought your members together. I'm just telling you.
Thank you.
You can't sit in that mayor's seat and think you know it all.
That's right.
And that can be a challenge for some mayors. So you have these strong personalities of council members who were sent there by their constituents to work for them, not for the mayor. And sometimes some mayors get that confused.
Well, thank you for that. And I take great pride when I was chairman of Metro under Annise Parker. Remember, back then, the county was heavy red Republican.
Yes.
And the city was heavy blue Democrat. And, of course, people may not recall, but the Metro board is made up of 9 people. There are 5 appointed by the mayor, and there are 2 that are appointed by the county government, and there are 2 that are elected by the small cities, the Humbles, the Westviews of the world, Missouri City, etc. And, of course, a lot of those suburbs are really heavy red Republican. And so there were 4 Republicans. And I think when they first came in, they had concerns about me because, of course, I'm a partisan Democrat, but I don't behave that way. At the end of the day, they became my strongest allies, because when you're doing the right thing and you focus on what do we have in common, and let's solve those common problems for the citizens, things work out.
Gilbert, I don't want people to misunderstand Gilbert Garcia as just a radio host or money manager. They don't know your personality, and I'm just telling you, serving with 2 different mayors, if you would have become the mayor, I think our city would be more advanced in terms of working the different cultures and communities working together, not against one another. Projects from Metro, how it ties into the inner city communities, whether it's Black, Brown, Asian, or whatever. Your vision would have been totally different, but it wasn't God's timing for you.
Yep.
Yet.
You're a good man.
And I just wanted to start with that. But I think what you have an opportunity, and you're right, I served with 2 different mayors, Mayor Parker and Mayor Turner, 2 totally different personalities. And then you had council members that were more reserved, expected their staff to do the work. I was totally different. I was hands-on. I addressed the needs of my community. And in my community during that time, in the Sunnyside area, they were complaining about infrastructure and how the city wasn't engaged. I said, well, you give me an opportunity, I'm going to put together what you call a TERS. Most of them had never heard of it. I said, it's a tax increment reinvestment zone where money stays in the city. In the area of Sunnyside. And I will put a board together that comprises of people that live in Sunnyside or have property in Sunnyside. No friends, no hookups, none of that. And I did that. That increment, meaning the money that's been captured in Sunnyside right now, Gilbert, it started at $140,000. It's at $9 million now.
No kidding.
And the community controls it. And then I told the people in the community, I said, we need to address this food insecurity in our city and in our district. And so my background working with federal agencies in Washington, pursuing federal appropriations, I knew there was some money in HUD for food deserts. And my friend, former council member Stephen Costello, Mayor Parker gave him the initiative to start up addressing food deserts. So I kind of took it a step further, went to Washington, found some money to purchased land on 288 North McGregor to build a brand new HEB, and that was $14 million. And I got it before Trump took it off the books to build this wall he was talking about. So I did that. And then I told the senior citizens, I said, you give me an opportunity, I'm going to help you with your homes, your minor home repair, create a minor home repair program to help seniors, man, that need help with their houses. And we repaired over 607 homes.
Wow.
As an at-large council member, those programs are going to be expanded. I plan to address in the Acres Home, Acres Home, South Park, Northeast Houston, where it's a food desert, to come and bring that same approach to that area. I want to also work with the seniors throughout the city of Houston, not just in District D, to be able to address that, because we have some neighbors in Denver Harbor and off of Lockwood and other areas that we've been doing work for when I wasn't elected, just to help them because they need help. And we want to take that and advance our program, expand it further out, and help more people, Gilbert. But more importantly, let me tell you what's going to impact the whole city, and nobody even talk about it. East Water Purification Plant. That deal there, most of the water you get when you take a shower or out the faucet comes from the purification plant. And the thing is so outdated now. They're looking at either building a new one or either rehabbing the current one they have, and chances are they're probably going to build a new one. So the question becomes, how are we going to pay for this? Because you're talking $2 billion almost.
Wow.
How are you going to pay for that without raising taxes? So that's where it comes in, working with the Army Corps of Engineers, working with, the federal government. And that's, again, where you would have been strong if you was a mayor, Gilbert. And I think Mayor Whitmire will be able to work through that as well. But being able to find federal money to come in to help us with this, because if our water go down, we have a major problem. That's when more people start focusing on what's happening at the city. So I want to get in front of that, make certain that I take a role in planning how we're going to get this thing done, whether we're going to build a new one or reconstruct the same one we have, and how we're going to pay for it. Expand my seniors program, the East Water Purification Plant, the levees out at in the Kingwood area, and my senior minor home repair program. Those are my top 4 initiatives.
Let's go back to something.
Yeah.
Because when you were council member at first, weren't you a district council member?
District D,
okay.
Correct.
What do you think is the difference between, and tell our listeners again, because some people may not be fully aware, what is the difference between an at-large and a district? And you were one, and you might be, or you're probably going to be both. What's the difference? And how should the citizens view it?
Well, thank you, Gilbert. Great question. There are 16 council members, 11 are district, 5 are citywide at large. So you have the mayor, you have the city controller, and then you have 5 at large council members. All of those 5, 6, 7 people represent the entire city. And then you have 11 district council members, kind of like a pie. You cut it into 11 pieces. Everybody have a piece. But the advantage the district council member would have is that each person gets $1 million to do improvements in their district based on what the needs are. So, in other words, if someone says I need a sidewalk or I need a panel replacement because of decay in infrastructure, they can take from that $1 million and get it done. And I was pretty successful with dealing with illegal dumping in my area with my $1 million after-school program for kids. And so there were other programs. So the at-large doesn't have that $1 million threshold of funds, but what you do is take a big picture approach to the whole city and bring in policies, and in my background, bringing in federal resources to help address some citywide issues like the East Water Purification Plant.
So are you ready to run for at-large then?
I'm ready, man.
You ready?
I'm ready. We just tried to get the votes out. I'm glad you brought that up, Gilbert, because the election starts next Monday. Early vote starts next Monday. I think, until the 8th, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And then election day is on the 13th, all during the holiday period and people shopping and this. So what we're trying to do is raise money to be able to remind people to get out and vote.
Go ahead and tell us everything, meaning what's your website? How can people donate? How can people volunteer? Go ahead and do all that. I want to give you that opportunity.
DwightBoykins.com. DwightBoykins.com. You can go to that and pull up the website as well as make a donation. If you know me personally, call me today, 713-203-2835.
Good going.
Because I'm riding around right now in my 53 Chevy pickup truck picking up checks.
Good for you. I want to go back to something else because I know how close you were to Sheila Jackson Lee.
Oh, man.
I know, and I know it's hard to talk about.
Yeah.
But we honor her when we talk about it. But I do know how close you were to her. And she and I were political, very good allies, so to speak, because I will always tell the truth. And the truth is we would not have gotten that $1 billion from the federal government, or 900 million, without Sheila Jackson Lee, without a doubt, to expand the rail, et cetera. And remember, all those Metro haters, come on. Number one, what's your solution for all the traffic that paralyzes everything, right? Besides complaining. So, what is your solution, number one? And number two, at least be honest to the people, meaning that bus rapid transit network, Metro didn't build that, didn't design it, and it was designed by the Uptown, and it was almost designed for failure because they set it up where you would not get signal preemption, meaning it is stuck in traffic with everybody else. So let's really be honest, right? And the other thing about it is when you do rail, it's not about rail alone. You're redoing all the streets. You're doing all the sidewalks. You're doing everything. And that's money that we repay, go around the rail lines, and look how wonderful those streets are. But really, what is the solution for the rodeo? You think we could pull off the World Cup without that red line and without the ability for people to get around? No, the answer is no. So let's be grown-ups here and let's be truthful. But what I wanted to go back to is when you look at Sheila Jackson Lee, what's your fondest memory of her? And I know you have a bunch, but when you think about her, if you were to say, I want to be like that public servant, that is what I believe a great public servant is, and I want to be like this, what would you say?
Well, she was just a champion for everybody, man. It didn't matter to her if you lived in her congressional district or not. I remember one time as a council member, I took a delegation over to Cuba and a business group, and we went over there, man. It was when President Trump, then his first term, had closed the government. And so we get there, and we have a U.S. embassy there in Cuba. And one of the guys came over, he's a good friend of mine. He's an attorney. His wife had passed. And like my wife, who keeps up with my passport and all this, because the government shut down, he was able to fly over to Cuba but couldn't cross over. And so someone in our group said, man, let's call from Cuba now, Sheila Jackson Lee. And so they handed me the phone, and Sheila said, hang tight, stay there. And I'm at baggage claim for about an hour just waiting, and some guy come tap me on the shoulder. And he said, my name is, let's say, Gilbert Garcia, whatever his name was. And I'm on behalf of the U.S. Embassy. And Congresswoman Lee reached out to me, just hold tight for a few minutes. She wants me to open up the embassy. I can't do that, but let me see what I can do. And we waited another hour. She tried. She couldn't get it across, but she tried. That's the Sheila Jackson Lee I know. She didn't ask, was he a Democrat or Republican?
Right.
She tried to help that man because he was a U.S. citizen. And there are many stories, Gilbert, but I just like how she look out for the least and the last, and didn't matter your race. And there are a lot of good people in our city who would do the same thing, but that's the Sheila I know.
Well, I want to come back to Sheila in a moment, but I know we had a caller that was on hold. Dominic, are you there? Dominic.
Yes, Gil, can you hear me?
I can, and I know you're always the man with the plan as it relates to Metro. First of all, let us know, is Metro going to be taking people to the polls for free?
That one, I don't know. I can work on that. I do know that there are several polling places, early voting, that are on the red line, so I can maybe work on that.
Let's find out, and let's let our listeners know next time. But go ahead.
Okay, I'll work on that as soon as I get off the phone here. Okay, Gil, I'm going to pick on your brain here since the council member's here. When Anise Parker put you, Christoph, Alan Miller, Van Luter, and two other members onto the Metro board, Now, that was a dream team. I'm not complaining about that. But when you were presented to city council, were there any, like for instance, you get a person for the Supreme Court. They go before the Senate committees and that sort of thing, and it's vented. Y'all weren't vented at all, were you? Parker just presented you. Council said yes. We had a bunch of applause, and then you were put in. Is that correct?
That is correct. But let me expand. The councilman already talked about we have a strong mayor form of government. So not only does the mayor control the agenda at city council, et cetera, but he also or she also controls some of the major appointments. And the mayor has the ability to appoint 5 members to Metro Board just by themselves. No council, what do you call it? No council consent or anything like that, which is very different than like the port, where council together has to vote on it, or things like the pension board, where council has to bring it up and it's voted. I didn't want to cut you off there.
No, you're right.
But in other words, she had the ability to put in 5. Now, here's the thing about council, though. One of the things that happened as soon as I became Metro Chair is I had many people call me, some of the quote-unquote smartest guys in the room that still think they run Houston, and they, tried to dress me down and those kinds of things. But also a lot of elected officials, a lot of council members, and they were very respectful. So they wanted to see me. I think part of it was to get to know me better, and the other part of it was to let me know what are their priorities as it relates to mass transit. And so I had a lot of people that wanted to meet with me, and I did that, all over. So, council member, I don't know if you have a follow-up on that.
Well, I just want to say, and I remember 2 of the board members. That was a dream team, Gilbert. I'm telling you,
Dwight
you
Jefferson.
guys, you guys had Alan Watson, you, Dwight, and who was
we had Carl Patman.
Oh, with that U.S. Ambassador Carl Patman?
Yes,
man, look at that. That's a dream team.
And Christoph Spieler for New Bus
Christopher sure was. He was a sharp, very, very smart. I need to catch up with him.
Yeah, he's probably one of the most schooled,
brilliant person on transportation.
No doubt, he's one of the most schooled persons on transit. 100%. He's no longer in town, I don't think.
Oh, he left Houston?
I believe so. Do you know, Dominic? But at the end of the day, you know what?
I don't know.
I'll find out. Hold on a second, Dominic. Hold on one second.
Can I just say what I'm going to
Go ahead. You go.
say?
You go.
My thing is with Proposition A, I think the council members need to use Proposition A to have it to where the mayor puts his team up, and then the city council members actually go through a process of venting people. And I think with Proposition A, that can be done. Lastly, I think both of y'all need to hear this. Well, Gil, you know this already. I have been a transit user in Houston for the past 50 years.
Come on.
Starting this year. Starting that good HUTRAN. Okay, so you got HUTRAN and Metro. Number 2, I'm actually a 3rd generation train rider in Houston for transit. My grandparents rode Houston Electric. My father rode Houston Electric. My mother rode Houston Electric, Metro, and possibly the Galveston Interurban. And I'm a 3rd generation user of Metro. So, I'm kind of a rare bird around here. But yes, I think city council needs to, with Proposition A, with the way and I think other things too, I think we really need to have, I'm going to put it this way. I think city council needs to do with the city charter, what Gilbert did with Metro, with the new bus network. I think we need to look at the city charter. I think we need to look at it from top to bottom. The city charter came in effect in 1856, which was pre-Civil War. With the ward system, everything else. And I think the city council needs to sit down and work with the citizens and those that know what's going on. And I think we need to really look at the possibility of some changes, like maybe some things need to be taken from city council and given to the letter districts and so on and so forth. I think we need to remove power from City Hall and move it to the letter districts. I know you're for at large. I get it, but I think the city charter needs to be completely looked at and maybe completely redone. Maybe that's the City of Houston version of New Best Network. With that, I have no other comments, Dale and council member, and thanks for letting me talk.
You're welcome, Dominic. What I was going to say, too, but thank you, Dominic, is we're going to have a show next week, Dwight. And you know what? I'd like you to call in. We're going to be having Dwight Jefferson, and we're going to talk a lot about Metro.
Absolutely.
And in my view, one of the things that I want to bring up is somehow the existing board has a lot less transparency. But more importantly, even if you don't believe in transparency or not, at the end of the day, the will of the voters should be what's paramount. And the voters voted twice to get more money for transit to Metro. And what are they doing? They're using the money to roads and things that the mayor and the city should be doing on their own. And so we're going to talk all about that. And I'm not trying to get you in any controversial issues. But I do want to go back to something, which is when you think about Sheila, I want to go back. What is going on with CD18? Can you educate our people? Are you up to speed on what the heck is going on?
Well, I can tell you I don't have the legal interpretation, but I can just tell you what I'm hearing from others.
Do it, please. I mean,
well, that thing has gone up and down, up and down.
And there's lawsuits, and there's no lawsuits, and then there's the court said something, and then the other court said no.
As of today,
go for it.
If I'm not mistaken, the 21st, January 21st will be the runoff between Kristen Menifee and Amanda Edwards. It may not be the 20th. I think it's the 21st of January, and they were waiting on that. This is the bottleneck.
Go.
And we were talking about this last night. The way they had it structured, Congressman Al Green, when they came up with the approach to redrawing the lines, they being the federal, the state house, and Al Green, he lives in Congressional District 9 right now. If they would have redrawn the lines, he would have been living in 18 if he didn't move his residence. So anyway, now the federal court, my understanding, came back and said, no, that's unconstitutional, blah, 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 and now it's going to the other courts, appeals court or whatever, and then the Supreme Court, because I'm not a lawyer. But now Kristen Menifee and Amanda Edwards are running in the old CD18, Sheila Jackson Lee, Sylvester Turner seat. Al Green is now running in his seat. December 12th is a special day because this is the problem I see. December 12th, let's say Al Green, Congressman Green, files, which he should, for his seat for Congress. The appeals court or Supreme Court comes back after, let's say, February or March, if they don't try to rush it, and Kristen or Amanda wins the race, they're the member of Congress for the old 18. But then they change it, and Al filed December 12th for his seat. He won't have an opportunity to file again for 2 years.
Oh,
so he's out.
So he won't be able to run for the potentially newly drawn CD18
for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Because this December he'll be filing for his seat 9. I would think. I don't know. He hadn't told me that, but I would think he'd be filing for his seat. So it's kind of like rolling dice, not knowing what the Supreme Court or the appellate court or who appeals court will rule.
And we are quote unquote informed. Imagine everyday working people that aren't sort of in the bubble of knowing all the politics. How are they going to keep track? Because I'm already exhausted just hearing you, and I already lost the iterations. Imagine voters. How are they going to know? Am I voting for Al Green? Am I voting Kristen Menifee? Am I voting for Amanda Edwards? Or where am I and who am I voting for? Do you think this is by design?
Make you wonder, doesn't it?
Does it?
It makes you
and
wonder,
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but it makes you wonder. Like,
it makes you wonder,
if you had to say, how can you make a more complicated way? I don't think you could make it more complicated.
I don't think you can, man. And I just hate that's happening. But I could tell you we have two good candidates in Menifee and Amanda. All I'm looking for is someone as a council member I can work with in Washington, take on some of these big ticket items, working with the Army Corps of Engineers and working with HUD on funding programs that we need in our community, and to stand up for our community. And I think we're gonna have some good representation. And I just look forward to get that battle over. It's unfair for them to get the state legislature to get in the middle of something like this and leave us without representation for a year and a half. But where it will backfire on them, Gilbert, is this. The people in California voted and spoke that they want to redraw that line. So if the courts say that our seats remain the same, California can potentially pick up 5 new seats.
I mean,
think about it.
The whole thing is regrettable because the process has been every 10 years there's a census.
Yes.
You then get the census, and whether you have it set up where the legislature does it, like we have, or whether you have in California where they have a commission that does it, at the end of the day, there's a process, and they come up with new lines, and then it's implemented every 10 years. And then the voters and the citizens can understand, oh, my district changed. This whole thing of doing it midstream is just not fair. It's just not appropriate in my view. But hold on, we have a caller real quick.
Okay.
Is there an Ernie on the line?
Yes, good morning. Happy Monday.
Ernie, you got me, Gilbert Garcia, and Dwight Boykins. What do you got for us? And by the way, Ernie, if you know anything new on CD18 or the whole thing about Metro and are there going to be free rides to the polls or anything about the polls, let it out.
I know a lot about a lot of things that are not going well in this city, in this state, in this country. You can talk about it all day long, but the reality is they are trying to make changes to avoid the reality of having certain people in their seat. And that's the truth.
Amen.
What do you got for what do you got for me or the councilman, Mr. Dwight Boykins, who's of course a candidate in the runoff for at large?
Good luck.
Hey, Ernie, I haven't met you yet, but if I lose by 1 vote, I'm gonna fine you.
Dwight, hey, Dwight, you have met me many times. You just, I just look like all those other Mexican girls.
You need to quit.
Just lovely.
I didn't get a last name. That's why I said that, Ernie.
Oh, Pena Sandoval.
Oh, I know you. I proposed to you, and you said no. I remember, Ernie.
That's right. You look like all the other beautiful Mexican girls.
That's right. And I worked on your campaign for a bit when you were running the last time, so I really believe in you.
Thank you.
I think you need to stick with the course.
Thank you.
I was at one of your meetings that they had at the Bayou Blue, and I thought they were very rude. Some people were not keeping the democracy in line. They were being very rude and disgenerous to you, and I was very disappointed in that. And I did make a statement to my group because I am a Bayou Blue, and I was very embarrassed. So I want to apologize to you publicly on air that Gilbert is so kind to let us have this opportunity, because I really, even saying it that night wasn't enough. I really felt that there were some people that were just not supposed to be there.
Well, I
And
look
I
forward.
think it
I
showed.
look forward to representing them as well, Ernie. I really do.
Amen to that.
I know you do. I know you do. And Gilbert, I just keep up the good work on Metro, because yes, we are losing those funds. We have lost those funds. I don't know how they're going to redeem the funds, but the reality is we have a FIFA coming up. We have a need to really service this city. And if we don't have sense enough to know that by now, and FIFA's knocking on the door, we have an issue.
Amen
And
for
the
that.
workers shouldn't pick up all the slack, because I guarantee you they're going to have to hire a lot of workers for Metro. And they're not going to be too happy, because a lot of people are just going to not want to put up with this. They're going to say, I'm retiring. Let me get the heck out of here. I'm not going to work like that and not be paid.
Well, you have a question though for the councilman? I want to make sure I get you in there.
Well, basically, when you go to vote this week, we're going to have the early voting on December 1. And then also make sure that you're there. I mean, make sure that at any time that they have polling and you're not even running for, everything's not going to be on the list, but just be there. That's really what I want to say to you, Dwight, is that have as much conversation as you can, because that's how you're going to get every one vote. Really.
Yeah, no, you're right, Ernie, and we're doing it. We have a plan, and I want to remind you and others that there were 16 constitutional amendments at the last election, 14 candidates in front of my name running for Congress, 13 candidates in front of my name running for city council, and I was on page 3. At the bottom. And so all of that's gone. It's just me and one candidate running. And being a native Houstonian and all I've done in the city, I think it's going to be a clear choice that I'm the best candidate. And You know, whether my opponent has $10 million, she had, I think, $500,000 the first time to my $130,000. And if it wasn't for the other candidates, we'd have come out way far ahead. And so we look forward to it, man. We're just trying to, Ernie, get the message out, raising money to get the message out to the voters to come out and vote. They turn out, we win.
There you go. You heard it here first, Ernie. Ernie, you got the last word here. Anything else?
Oh, yes. Everyone must have a wonderful holiday.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Everyone must give thanks. Happy Thanksgiving. And please service the food bank or kids' meals. Please share your food. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ernie. Thank you for calling in. And I saw the great Jesse Rodriguez. Let's put him back up there on his comment that he made. And comments go all the time. Dwight is right. Don't be a tonto. Vote. Thank you, Jesse Rodriguez. Okay, we have another caller though, but that caller was who? Was it a Lopez? I think. Jose. Jose, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Jose, you got me, Gilbert Garcia, and you have Mr. Dwight Boykins, who is a candidate for council at large. Of course, he's a former district council member. What do you got for him, or for me, or for Houston or Harris County?
Hey, Gilbert, and thank you, Mr. Boykins. I just wanted to call in and let you know that I support your show. Great content, and let the people know that to tune in. I'm definitely paying attention to the discourse that you guys are having, and you have great guests. So keep up the good work.
Well, I thank you for that. That's very kind of you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Do you have
and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
You have a question though for the councilman?
I just want to know what is it that motivates you as far as running for office, to let the constituents know what is that passion, what is that drive.
That's a wonderful one.
That's a one. I was talking to a group of kids the other day, Mr. Lopez, and I told them, I said, everybody want to be called honorable. Everybody want to be recognized. Everybody they believe that they have to run for office to be effective in the community. Some people really need to understand that God got a calling for everybody's life. My calling is to serve people, and that's what I do. And that's why I don't consider myself a politician. I say I'm a public servant. That's my calling, and that's what drives me to do it. And I think, when you have more people who want to serve the people, regardless of race, gender, ethnicity, whatever, and not get caught up in the politics, man, it makes work a little easier. Just one quick example, Jose, during the hurricane, I remember during the flood, when trash was in front of everybody's house, and we were at council, and one of the seniors came down and she was complaining and started crying about how long that trash was in front of her house. Man, I got up immediately and went and put on some blue jeans, got out the suit, put on some blue jeans, and went to her house and picked that trash up and put it in the back of my truck. I think Channel 13 followed me out there because I didn't tell anyone. And I went and picked that trash up and put it back in my truck and took it to Sunbeam location and dumped it. That's what I do. That's just one example of how I care about my community. I care about people. Went to Stephen F. Austin High School, man. A lot of my partners I played basketball and football with are just motivating me and telling me, Dwight, you still the same fellow that we had on the football team or the basketball team that care about people. And it means a lot to you, man.
Wow, really appreciate that answer. I think that your constituents are going to have a good one on their hands. So everyone tune in and go look out for Mr. Boykins and read about him a little bit more. I'm definitely going to do the same. So thank you for taking my question, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Lopez, are you a lawyer?
Yes, I am.
Okay, wonderful.
Gilbert, I am.
Wonderful.
Yes, I am.
And where's your where's your practice at?
I actually have a building here on Richmond near the Galleria. I am 21 years licensed here in the state of Texas, serving the Spanish-speaking community. I live, this is District J here in Houston, and I don't know I think Harris County District, I believe. But I'm here, and I look forward to hopefully one of these days being on your show, Gilbert, and letting everyone know exactly what I do and how I support the community.
Well, consider that done, my friend. And meanwhile, go ahead and give us your website and everything. I want to give you a plug there because that's great of you to call in. Give us your website
perfect.
and everything else.
Yeah, yes. Anyone can follow me at Attorney Lopez TX, Attorney Lopez TX, like Texas, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and you can learn a little bit more about me. Or in Spanish, Abogado Lopez TX, Abogado Lopez TX, for my Spanish-speaking community out there. And I would love to talk to you about all the community work that I've done here in Houston, Texas, and nationally. And lastly, I just came back from New York. I was recognized by the Big Brothers organization for all the community work and volunteer work I do with
I
their,
want-
How wonderful.
Let me say it. I want to meet you, sir. Because if you're
Sounds
that committed, man. I want to meet
Yeah.
you, see if we can do some stuff together, because that's what this city needs, man. And we need leadership
Yes,
of
sir.
people who care about people.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Boykins. I definitely, I've seen you from afar, and I wanted to call in and let you guys know I'm tuned in, and I definitely would like to meet you guys, and we can have a discourse about that. I'm not a politician. As you said, everyone, has a calling, and my calling is the legal profession, kind of like Gilbert, but my legal profession has, blessed me to be successful, and the number one thing that I thought about is like, hey, how can I give back? So I am very involved with the community at large, not only in Houston and Texas, the Spanish-speaking community, and lastly, Gilbert and Mr. Boykins, is that I'm building a school in Latin America for elementary school children, because not only I talk the talk, but I walk the walk. So I definitely would like to come and expand a little bit more on the happenings that I have going on.
Well, I do know one way you can give back, Jose.
Yes, sir.
I know one good way you can give back.
I hear you loud and clear, Mr. Boykins. I hear you loud and clear,
No.
and that's the reason I'm calling in, and whatnot, to let the audience know a little bit more about you. And
Yes, sir.
I'm researching a little bit more about you, and you can consider it done.
Thank you. God bless you, man.
Mr. Lopez, you consider
sir.
done. I
Thank-
want to get you on the show. Thank you for calling in, and
sir.
thank you
Thank
for
you,
all
Gilbert.
that you do.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I want to go back to something. I know we have another caller there waiting. We'll get them in just one second, which is obviously you are tuned in a lot at the county level, and you have been for some time. What's going to go on here on this whole county attorney situation?
County judge?
Yeah. No, county attorney.
Oh,
because
yeah,
remember,
yeah.
Kristen now is
Yeah.
served until replaced.
Gilbert, you be on everything.
Yeah.
I love it, man. God, Gilbert, you're so right. No,
So
but
what's going to happen
people,
there?
those are things that people not even thinking about. So, man, you're brilliant. You're brilliant.
The commissioners need to appoint someone, and that someone will have, of course, a leg up on the election if they choose to run for it in the future. And I understand it was tabled at the last meeting, but it's gonna come up. What's your view of that position? Had always been, I'm going to say something that might be unfair, but I'm going to give it my opinion. Everybody knows I have an opinion on things. It used to be somewhat of a sleepy type position, but Christian has really
taking it to
another level, right?
Yeah.
Am I right, or did
You're
I?
absolutely correct.
And so, what do you think? Do you have a dog in that hunt, or what do you think is going to happen?
The county
there?
attorney, Audrey Lawton, she's
Yep.
looking at it, and I've definitely committed to her. I'm trying to win my race first, but let
I
me
understand.
let me be clear about this. She reached out early, but the way it work is Christian is interim right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if I had to guess, and I have no evidence to support this, he will remain in that interim slot until March. Now, but hang on, if he wins their and remember it's in January, their runoff. If he wins at that point, they may have to make an appointment, and if they're smart, they will take someone from inside, an employee, to fill this, who they know wouldn't run, to fill the 2-month window, and then allow that primary in January between whomever run to win a Democratic. No, Gilbert. You know what? Well, they may. That's interesting because it's
would
not
be in
open.
March.
It's not open though. Christian just won.
Well,
So being that he steps down December or January for their runoff,
If he wins.
they immediately have to appoint somebody, and I would think I would hope it to be somebody internally who's not running for the seat.
it would be for
the March race.
It would be for the to fill the unexpired term.
For 2 months, roughly.
And then they would have to, or somebody, or the whole shebang would then announce in March for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, but it's going to be a costly race because you're going countywide. I was thinking
right.
that somehow they can piggyback in the March primary, so they would have to do that in January.
They would have to file.
Yeah.
And remember, he serves until the commissioners appoint someone else. You
Correct.
serve until someone else is appointed. So it'll be very, very interesting.
Very interesting.
But
man.
you agree with me that he's really taken it to another level.
Oh man, Menifee has taken that
Right?
department
Hasn't
to
he?
a totally.
And I know
different level.
you're focused on your races, so
Yeah.
you really can't get involved in
Yeah.
other races, and I'm not trying to commit you
Yeah.
anyway. At the end of the day, though, you got to acknowledge he's done that.
He's done a great job.
Oh yeah, there's just no doubt about it. Well, let's go back. I know we have another caller. There is a Jesse Rodriguez. Jumpin' Jess, is that you?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Gilbert. Good morning, Mr. Dwight.
Hey, Jesse.
What you got me? You got Mr. Dwight Boykins, the man with a plan. What do you got for us, or for Houston or Harris County, or for anything else? And I saw that we had the Tejano Music Awards recently, and I think that was a success. Of course, everybody remembers you when you were the Chorizo Crew, and you were the whole Kakukuka, which was, of course, the biggest Tejano radio stations probably in the whole, certainly Texas.
The world.
Yeah, probably the world. And for many, many years, you were the morning show host. So what do you got for us, my friend?
Thank you, Gilbert. No, it's the question that people are asking me, and probably people like Ernie, is why are you, as an Hispanic, supporting Dwight Boykins? Why aren't you supporting an Hispanic candidate? And the reason is because, first of all, I've known Dwight for over 10 years. Number two, he's from the East End community. He went to Austin High School, and where I went. And number three, he's dedicated to community. What he wants to do is help seniors. So that's why I'm supporting Dwight Boykins. He's the most qualified candidate. He's done the job. He knows the job. And you don't want a rookie coming in. You want somebody with experience, a veteran, somebody who can do the job. And along with the partnership of Pastor Willie and Joaquin, you're going to have 3 Mustangs on city council that's going to make a difference, and a dangerous team right there. So
There you go.
I'll leave it at that.
That's going to be a force, Jumpin' Jess. Well, Jess, let me ask you this. You've been around in the community. Your family's been around a long time. What are you looking for a council member when you think about someone is a council member and they're running at large? I mean, what do you want to see that person do and be?
Well, I want to see him definitely work in the neighborhood and improve the infrastructure, as Dwight has talked about, the flooding, the roads, the basic safety of our community. And Dwight's already been doing that and talked about that. Somebody you can get in touch with. Somebody, I have his phone number. I call him 24/7, and he's there to help me or help somebody else. So that's what you want. Somebody that's qualified to do the job and is not learning as he goes.
Wonderful. Jumpin' Jess, thank you so much. You got anything else for Mr. Boykins?
I just just keep up the great work. He was at a LULAC meeting this past Saturday, and he did a great job engaging with everybody in the community. And I know Dwight is right. He's going to be around, so he's going to do a good job. Thank you, Dwight.
Thank you so much, Jesse. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. And before we go to that next caller, I see a Becky. Put on that Becky wrote something there. Go back one. I think it was back one. Becky, she said here, please invite Attorney Jose Lopez to your show, Mr. Gilbert Garcia. I am interested in knowing more about his legal services. Well, Miss Becky, you can count on that. So thank you, and thank you for tweeting in or Facebooking in, as they say, and all the above. I want to go back. I know we have another call there. Before we go to that caller, who I thought was that Alina? Okay, we'll get Lena. I want to ask you, Dwight, which is, for someone that was a district councilman, and this is not a meant to be a, for someone else, but bottom line is you were always focused on a lot of broader citywide issues, because I remember you vividly. And you would talk a lot about finances, and you were always involved, and you were one of the first person that said, we got to solve our firefighter issue because they didn't have a contract. You were out front of that early. And you were out front on the whole concept of, let's look at this garbage fee, because no one wants to have higher fees and no one wants to pay for more taxes, but at the end of the day you got to pay for the services that you want more services. And you did a great research, and I want to give you the opportunity to go into it, because you talked about other cities that have a garbage fee, and you said you're not necessarily here pushing for more fees, but you just said, listen, other cities have it. and their garbage situation is better than ours. Talk a little bit about all that and the whole concept of illegal dumping, the solid waste, the whole thing that we have, and what other cities are doing, and therefore what how you feel about it.
Well, what we have to get ready for, Gilbert, is coming. Rather, elected or not, a garbage fee is definitely going to happen because you compare it to other cities, and more importantly, the city of Houston have complained over and over and over to citizens about recycling not being picked up, trucks being broken.
Right.
Employees are leaving for better wages, going over to waste management and other recycle and trash companies. And the employees' morale was bad, and trash not being picked up. I mean, just so much. And everybody had the same complaint. And so what the council is looking at a way to come at bringing additional resources to the city. And Harry Hayes, who was the director back then, and I talked about it, and I presented it to Mayor Turner's administration during that time, and it hadn't taken off. And I think Mayor Whitmire is looking at it. But you're being forced when you have a revenue cap and you have so much money coming in. You have to find ways to, especially solid waste, to be able to address quality of life issues. And so my proposal was just an example of how it could work compared to what other cities were doing. And I was exempting disabled veterans, seniors, and reducing the cost on some other seniors. And I think we're about 500,000 homes in our city. Based on an estimate cost, we'll be able to raise enough money to be able to have my approach to it: trash pickup twice a week, not once a week, heavy trash twice a month, and that would help eliminate illegal dumping around our city. And I think people will spend more time realizing that they're getting something for their money, because every time they look up, the trash truck is coming, and it keeps your city clean. And so it was just a proposal and a concept. And like I said, whether I'm on council or not, it's going to happen. But I'm out front, and I've been out front with it, and I think that's where we're going.
Well, you were very thoughtful because you talked about other cities. You made a comparison rather than just, we got to do this fee. And I think that's what people need to know. They need to get information so they are informed. That's
Absolutely.
what it's all about.
And I hope, Gilbert, if it goes in that direction, that is rolled out very clear to where people understand who it will impact. Because everybody won't be impacted by the fee. But I can assure you it's coming, and we just want to make certain that the bottom line, people know they're getting something for their money.
One of the things when I ran for mayor, and I had a blast running for mayor, is how much garbage. When you think about garbage, you think, oh, it's just garbage. But how much it does things for the quality of life when there's a lot of garbage just there for a long time, what it does to the morale of the community. I mean, it has so many other negative effects. And I also learned how widespread it is, meaning how much we need someone to pick up garbage more effectively and on time. It's everywhere.
Everywhere,
It's everywhere.
man. It's everywhere. Hey, Gilbert, let me stay correct on something. I just got a text that Congressman Al Green has filed for the 18th congressional.
Oh, he has?
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
I got. So
thank you.
I wasn't clear. So I got a text and it said he filed already.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
I appreciate whoever
Yeah.
did that. You don't need to tell us, but I
Yeah.
think that's good because we always want to be a good fact check.
Man, that thing was moving so many times, and I just
Yeah.
didn't know. And I've worked with Congressman Green. He's been a fantastic congressman, and we'll see how this thing works out.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Ultimately, there's a lot of good people running. So the good thing is the winner is going to be the citizens of the 18th congressional district and America, because they're all good. They're all going to do a great job. And so I have high hopes. As soon as we get that doggone thing done and settled.
Settled,
right? Am I
man.
right? We have another caller already. Who's that caller? Did you see Lena? Lena, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Lena. You got me, Gilbert Garcia, with a tip from me with Dwight Boykins, who is a former council member, and he, of course, is running for councilman at large.
Hello, Lena.
What do you got for us?
Yeah, so I know that you have big incentives for the grocery stores in those lesser areas, but Houston has a big industry in small businesses, and we love our small businesses in Houston. And I just wanted to know if you had any things that would help small businesses out and continue to have them, since they are such a big part of our culture here.
That's
a
good.
great
Yeah.
question.
So I'll rephrase it a little bit. What's going on with small businesses in this community, first of all? And are they thriving? Are they not thriving? I know the economy isn't as good as people think, but what are your views, and what's a way the council can do something to, I don't know the right word, assist them or something?
Let me say this, Lena. There are 5 at-large council members, and to this day, I don't know the issues that they have taken on, but based on your question, if I was down at council, what I would do, and assuming nobody's working on it, what I would do is pull together a group of small business owners and ask the questions like you presented to me. What are some of the challenges you're facing, whether it's funding, whether it's, the city having access through programs to help them get work, or the county? We need to at least know what the issues are. But let's say, for an example, is funding, small business. What I would like to do is utilize my relationships in Washington, D.C. that I've done in the past. When the late Congresswoman, it was Congressman Al Green, it wasn't Sheila at this point, when I first started working, doing federal appropriations, took on some small business through the Houston Community College system funding, appropriations. And so then you can go through the college and get some startup capital to help you get started. I don't know where you are in terms of your business, Lena, but there are some opportunities out there. But the way I operate, I like to know what I'm dealing with and what the issues are before I start taking public opinions in terms of how to address certain issues. But I would look forward to have that conversation with you and other small business owners.
Excellent. You have a follow-up there, Miss Lena?
No, thank you so much for that.
Well,
Thank you, Lena.
We thank you for calling. And
Can we ask Gilbert, Lena, what kind of business you're in?
Yeah, I actually do nails. I'm an esthetician.
I need to get a pedicure. Can I come see you? Real bad.
Of course.
Yeah, tell them off air where you are, Lena. I need help.
very good. Lena, thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
Of course. Thank you.
Wonderful. So continuing, we've talked about several things. One thing I do want to say is when I'm hungry, I always like Taqueria Laredo.
Yeah.
And of course, they don't pay me to say that or anything like that. But you know what? They have the best carne guisada in town. They really do. And so I really love it. And if you haven't had it, Dwight, I'm going to make sure I get you a free taco. Oh, I may have one. They said that I might have one in the kitchen here.
Looking forward to it.
I'm gonna give it. It's the best food in town for real. So going back, we only have believe it or not, about 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I want to make sure I cover the things that are on your mind. And the only thing I do want to expand, that was a question that somebody said, was, someone inspired you. When did who inspired you, and when did it click? And maybe it was the Lord, maybe it was your parents, I don't know. But when did it click that, I'm really going to sort of dedicate my life, of course, to the Lord, et cetera, but to public service, and I really want to help others? When did that kind of turn on for Dwight Boykins?
There are several people, but the one that stands out, man, that just took it by the horn when I was a kid was Gerald Womack. A lot of people don't realize Gerald Womack started off as a realtor at 16, and then he ran for state representative, and we grew up in the same projects. His mother and my mother were best of friends. His mother since passed, but Gerald inspired me. I said, if he can do this, I can do it, and he wanted to help people. And then Ovi Duncantail, who ran for city council, had the same approach. And then Ann Richards, who ran for governor. And then, of course, Sheila Jackson Lee. And all these people, I volunteered to help them to get to where they were trying to go. And that's how I got engaged. Gilbert, and I know that's your question. I don't want time to run out, but I do want to talk.
Go. I want to go because you have such a broad base of support.
Yes.
From across the aisle, from across different different ethnicities, women, male, female, from across the city, different. It's pretty amazing when you look. And I'm going to show you that if anyone can see this mailer, and I don't know if you can zoom in here, Mr. Producer, but at the end of the day, this is just a tip of the iceberg of people supporting Dwight Boykins. And you have all kinds of people, whether it's former council people like Robert Gallegos, Jack Christie, whether it's on the Republican side like Mike Sullivan, whether it's County Commissioner Tom Ramsey, whether it's Beto O'Rourke, of course, Ron Reynolds. I mean, there's, whether it's Claude Cummins, of course. You have just such a wide breadth of support. So you go for it. Let
And
some
the-
people know.
Yeah, and the reason I'm so honored to have all these people supporting me is because they know I'm experienced, ready to go, and qualified for the job. But I tell people all the time, you know, when you're in campaigns, people want to try to find something negative and throw something at you and talk about Republicans this and Republicans that. I said, let me be clear. When someone called and said their street has a pothole or trash need to be picked up, experience tells you don't ask them, are you a Democrat or Republican? You get it done. And that's what I do. Whether you gay or straight, you get it done. And that's what my track record is. And so all these people from U.S. Ambassador Corin Patman, who served with you on the board, Art Perone in Maryland, he and Becky Edmondson, to, again, Councilmember Jack Christie, former Mayor Lee Brown, Dave Martin, former Mayor Pro Tem Sue Level. I mean, we have them all. Ed Gonzalez, the Harris County Sheriff, Smokey Phillips, the Constable, Jerry Garcia, the Constable, Sherman Eagleton, who's a Constable, and then the Houston Police Officers Union, the Houston Fire Union, State Rep Dan Huberty and Ron Reynolds. I mean, we have the city who say Dwight is our candidate and we're behind him. And I look forward to work with each and every one of them and every citizen to make Houston better.
And, you have such a wide spectrum because, of course, we all know Beto O'Rourke and Ed Gonzalez, their Democratic resumes are very long. Corin Patman, of course, ambassador, et cetera. But then you have people like Dan Huberty. I worked with him when he was a state rep, and he was a very rational, thoughtful state rep. He's a Republican. Tom Ramsey, county commissioner, again, another very thoughtful elected official. And I worked with him when he was mayor. He was mayor of one of the villages. Same with Jack Christie. When I ran for mayor, he was there, and he was very thoughtful. So I really congratulate you because that shows you that you're the real deal. It really does, because it's not just a bunch of partisan people. It's across everything.
In our race, there were 14 candidates given. I think I've picked up about 9 of the endorsements.
No
of the
kidding.
14. Yeah. Even Sonia Rivera and Martina Dixon out in the Kingwood area, Lamont Dixon, they're on board with me. And matter of fact, they called me the very next day saying, I'm on board with you, Dwight. I didn't have to reach out to them, and I was grateful and honored. J. Brad Batto, Angie Thibodeau. This young lady, Angie Thibodeau, was interested. She told me when I met with her, she said, Dwight, I'm with you 1,000%. But if you notice, I didn't have one sign, one push card, nothing. She said, because one of our close mutual friends called and said, I'm with Dwight. I don't need you to run against him. And talked to her almost into getting out. She just couldn't pull her name off the ballot. I think she picked up 12,000 votes with no campaigning.
Kidding.
Yes, sir. So I was honored to have her support and looking forward to work with her on her initiatives dealing with housing for first-time home buyers. So it's been an honor. When the Houston Fire Department and Houston Police Union came out and said, Dwight, we stand with you because you're the right person, it just made me feel good about running.
Well, you know what? I salute you.
Thank you.
And we have 2 minutes. And you know what? It's hard to believe that an hour has already gone by.
Yes.
Does it just fly when we're together?
Yes.
It just flies. And Houston, Harris County, I want to make sure everybody knows you got to go vote. My mom said, if you don't vote, don't complain. And, of course, we're now on Phonoscope, mini channels, on some of the public media. We are showing our broadcast on Saturday nights. So we're on 5 TV stations now. Of course, we're on 5 radio stations live every Monday from 11 to 12. Of course, we're going to have Dwight Boykins Dwight Jefferson to talk a lot about, we probably will have you again, to talk about Metro. We got a lot going on. I want to give Mr. Boykins the last 30 seconds. He's going to look at the camera, and he's going to look at Houston and Harris County, and he's going to say why he's the right candidate to be elected at-large city council.
Because I'm hoping Gilbert Garcia decides to run for mayor one day.
What a good man. What a good man. Well, you know what? We're just going to end it on that note because I appreciate that. No, that's Dwight
The city
Boykins.
needs you, man.
I appreciate that. Dwight Boykins has really worked hard. And so everybody, no matter what, go vote. This is Gilbert Garcia with a tip from me, talk, inspiration, and prayer saying, we'll see you next time. All right, Houston, Harris County, this is Gilbert Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, Talk, Inspiration, and Prayer. We're going to now be on television. We will air every Saturday on Comcast 17, AT&T Channel 99, Phonoscope Channel 96, Suddenlink 99, and also HMSTV.org. Every new episode every Saturday at 7 p.m. And follow me on social media. See you then.